Hello everyone and welcome back to another professional prep video. In this video we are going to be talking about get methods. And I know that we've already sort of been introduced to get methods in the past. However, I decided that to clear up some confusion, and because they are such an important topic, I'm going to make a video specifically about them. So, get method in Java. So, get methods are also called return methods and also accessor methods. Those are the keywords that you're going to hear for these types of methods. So, here we have our class car. By now we know a lot about it. It has the private int year as an attribute. We've got all of these methods. And first, let's start by showing everyone an example of a get method. There's one, public int get year. So they're very common in these classes because if you remember, these attributes are declared as private, so you can't directly access them like this, or else you're going to get an error like this, as we saw in a previous video. That's why we have these get methods, so that we can access that value of year. So the general format, public, always should be public for get method, int, the return type, get, and then what are you getting? In this case, I'm getting the year, so get year, and it's just return year. In this case, I don't have any more code statements inside of that method, so it's just returning the year. So let me try that out here. I made a car Toyota. The year, let's change it actually. Let's do 2012. So let's print Toyota.getYear. Remember, these get methods return values. So there's no void in the heading, and that's why you need to use method call inside of something. In this case, it's a print statement. So oh my bad, forgot a semicolon at the end there. But yeah, I run that, and yeah, alright. My public class is test, so that's what my file name needs to be. Car is just a class. Let me save it like we might expect. There we go. Now let me run it. And there we go. Finally, we get 2012 there. So those were a couple errors. Just errors are how you learn in Java, so that's why I'm happy to make them during these videos, because that'll help everyone learn. And so I'm happy about that. The point of us, we want to help everyone learn about computer science, share some of our knowledge. So that's what we have for get year methods. And I also get methods in general. I also want to say one quick thing. Maybe we'll do this in a future code example, but you are allowed to return objects. That gets into class composition and a whole lot of that. But you are, which I did mention in the previous video, I believe, but you are allowed to return objects. Here I'll mainly be returning primitive data types, but maybe we'll make a video about returning objects later on. So I just want to bring that up. And now I'm going to talk about one special type of get method. So something that we should know to start is that whenever let's just say I do system.out.print Toyota. Now this, as we know by now, is going to print the memory address of Toyota. It's not going to print 2012. It's going to print that memory address down there, right here. So that's the system.out.println method. That's something that it refers back to the toString method. And here you don't see a toString method. It's following the general toString method, which prints an object with its memory address like that. But we can redefine a toString method. And let me just share an example of that first of all. So say that we have string lemonade equals lemon. And let's print lemonade. So we know from our experience that this is going to print lemon. However, string is a class after all. That's why we see that capital S here, because that's how they're generally named. So it's a class, but the string method, the string class actually has a redefined toString method that prints out the value of string here. And that's why we get lemon. So that's an example of a redefined toString method. And now we're actually going to code one for the car class. So let's go right under this one. So the way we write that, public toString methods always return a string. Public string toString. And now it's going to be one statement, return. And let's return the year here. So public string toString is going to return the year. And the system that at that println is going to refer back to the toString method. So if I get rid of this, let's print Toyota now. With our new redefined toString method, we are going to get, I see the issue. My bad, I gotta do some concatenation here. There we go. Let me put in return year. Yeah, because with just year, it was like I was returning an int, but that's not what I meant to do. Let's do this. And now let's run this. With our redefined toString method, we're getting year 2012, as you can see right there. So that's how you can redefine the toString method. And that's really useful in these methods, because then you don't necessarily always have to make a get method for every single instance variable. You can just make one toString and return all your instance variables like that. And then you can just print it, and just print Toyota. And with our redefined toString method, it'll print the year as opposed to a memory address. But if we get rid of the redefined toString method, it'll look at the already defined toString method and print out that memory address. So that's just something really important to remember going forward. You can code up that toString method and redefine it, otherwise called overriding a method, which we'll talk more about later. And I just want to point out that mistake I had made, once again, very helpful. I was just returning year, and year is declared as an int up here, so it thought I was returning an integer, but my return type is string, and sure enough, that got me an error, so I had to concatenate some stuff here, year plus year, and that turns it into a string, and that is why that code has compiled without any errors. So that's all I have for you for this video on get or return or accessor methods, as I said at the beginning. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us in any way, shape, or form. And I'll see you for our next video, which will be about mutator methods, which is another name for void or set methods. Thank you, everyone.